Orpheus was a poor boy, but he had a gift to give.
The wager's nothing and the work is hard. It's a graveyard in Hadestown.
Oh my God, Melanie!
It's a Hermes takeover.
Holy!
Absolute Hermes takeover. Well, we're here. What's on Stage in London and Theatre Mania in the US. They brought us together to do this.
Yes. I am obsessed with you, Melanie. You're amazing. You're unapologetic. You're real. Your heart is so open, and I get emotional every time when I say that. This is a treat, a blessing, a gift to me.
It's a real honor to talk to you, and I'll tell you a little bit later why you're talking about being obsessed, but I wouldn't say it just yet. But I want to ask you, I'm going to go into my first question because I am a massive fan of yours and have been for decades. Now, absolute decades. I know you, I know your work, I know I've been following you and the things that you do, and every time you do something on television and on film, I'm at the theater. I'm at the theater, so that's it. Live theater, that's okay. But I have been following you for such a long time because I am a huge fan. But tell me something. Is it true that you were an engineering student?
Yes, I was. I come from a very poor family in the Philippines, and I was supposed to help my father, take us out of poverty. And I was doing better in school, and I took engineering, and I was 5 years. I was taking it for 5 years, and before graduation, Cameron McIntosh came to the Philippines, and I got in Saigon, and I had to drop out and betray my dad.
Famously, but very famously, then played the engineer, and this kind of like leads up to like the start of my obsession with you. I saw you play the engineer in Edinburgh, and I have never done this before, and I've never done it since. But you moved me so, and you excited me so, and you showed me an authenticity on stage that I think maybe I had been searching for or really needed. And you are the only person I have ever written a fan letter to.
Oh my God, wow. Wow.
And I don't expect you to to know that or remember that, but that you transported me so with your work, with your interpretation, with your authenticity, your realness, your bringing of your whole self to to that role and to the stage. That is what, and I think you have a major impact in the person that I am in terms of being a performer.
Thank you. So my first question to you is, okay, our show, Hadestown, it's so beautiful and unique, and it's like they don't force you to be a carbon copy of what's already been created. Mm-hmm. You should play it in the parameters of the character, right? But when I started rehearsing for the show, I was encouraged to bring myself into the role. So I added things, and even my Filipino-ness. My question to you is, how did you bring your own unique Hermes to the show? Did you go full out and and let it flow, and then they can just go no, yes, or did you just go, no, I want it to be like this?
I didn't really think about it. I'm Trinidadian, I always will be Trinidadian. I've created several musicals where the character just speaks in this accent because I get to do this. I've been very fortunate in my life that I get to speak this way when I make new musicals. With this accent though comes, and with Trinidadianness comes a whole culture. There's a whole culture of storytelling, and it must be the same for you as well. Coming from the Philippines, there's that whole ancient ritual of the oral tradition of handing down stories from generation to generation just by telling. We have characters like griots and chantuels, and even when I was a kid growing up in Trinidad, I used to sing calypso, and calypso was a kind of social political commentary of the things that was happening. It was a kind of storytelling of the things that were happening in society. So I've been doing that since I was 8 years old, and so to me, all I did was just tap in to the storytellers of Trinidad and the way that we do things, the way that we conjure image and light and sound. My Hermes is full of bombast, and fun. I saw Lillias play it on Broadway before I came here to do it, and hers was really quite maternal, and I'm not sure that mine is, but also I don't really plan. So one day the godliness and the serenity of Hermes will take precedence, and then some days the trickster of Hermes will take more precedence.
Right.
I can't control it. It just happens. And so that's what I did in rehearsal. I was just bringing and changing, and I'm still doing that to this day. And sometimes they have to say, "All right, miss."
That's so beautiful and makes so much sense because we're on a loop, and sometimes maybe the outcome is the same, but how it happens can be different. That's so beautiful. I love
That's
it.
right.
Everybody hungry, everybody tired, everybody slaves by the sweat of his brow. Way down on the ground.
Now, you have a really interesting scenario at your Hadestown because you are there with your daughter. Please tell me what that is like.
Every time we get an interview, the two of us, I cry because I can't help it. When we were rehearsing, I was just watching her the whole time, and the blocking is we're always a little behind, and I'm just watching her, and I'm teary-eyed, and I would miss my cue, and the director would go, Jon, please pay attention, and then every time she would do her number, like All I've Ever Known, I would be crying. I need to compose myself. That is, it's Hermes disappears, and the father is just right behind her going, I'm gonna protect you, which makes this so different for me, that the stakes are higher for me because I want to make sure that things happen right for her. You know what I mean? So, and it becomes very emotional. That's why I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted after a show. I get really emotional. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because I've been seeing these videos from Hadestown where they ask, we know, and Anaïs is such a genius and such a poet. What is your favorite line in the show? I know this is hard. There's so many.
There's so many. We get to say so many good ones. We get to say so many good ones. But you know what? You mentioned it earlier. And it is exactly this. It is when I say, and here's the thing, to know how it ends and still begin to sing it again as if it might turn out this time. It's it's my personal philosophy. I didn't know that. I didn't know I was coming into a show that it was my personal philosophy. But I am an existentialist with a small e. In that I believe in kind of like, especially as to go a bit deep. I'm a Black woman who's an immigrant. So systems are built to not look after me. You know, that every day I have to turn up in the world in a way where I am aware of the things that I am. I go through the world being aware of being Black, of being a woman, and of being an immigrant. And I have an excellent life. So you know, putting that there too, I have an excellent life, and I'm exceedingly grateful for all of the opportunities that I have been given. But systemically, the world is not set up for me. But I still have to do it again. I still have to wake up and go out there again and again and again. And if I'm faced with systems that are blocking me from my progress, it doesn't mean that I stop. I have to sing it again. And I have to sing it again. And I have to wake up every day and make another effort in a life that is not designed for my success. So I love that. To know, because in a way, we all going to end the same way. In the end, we all have the same end. And we know that, and I know that, and I'm very aware of it. And you know, the older I get and the more aches and pains that I get in my joints.
Same here.
You know it, you're just so aware of it. But you still get up and you make an effort in this life.
I'm coming way down, way down, way down underground.
This is what I love so much about your Hermes, because I've now had that video of Way Down Hadestown on repeat. I probably watch it at least twice a day. It's like my prayers. I'm doing my daily mantras and my affirmations, and then I pick up and I go onto the website and I watch Jon Jon sing Way Down Hadestown with the umbrella, and it fills me right up. The thing that I love so much, well, I just love you as an actor, and I love the way that you approach text. I also love your physical language, like the way you move. Was that something you thought about when you were creating Hermes?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I love to, like you know, all of us, we love to observe people, and we pick up, oh, I love that. And I love movements. I love ballet. I love dancers, because they're, and we're supposed to be athletes, right? Kind of in our own way. And I love movements. I love the use of hands. And when I saw André, his version, and the way he uses his hands, like, yeah, I love that, because that's how I would do it as well. It's when we tell stories, it's when we tell stories to children, we use our hands, and we to enhance the storytelling. If you want to scare them, we do this. If we want to be more passionate, we do, you know. It's so the hands are so important. So yeah, movements are so important to me. Yeah, I love it.
We also have a similar thing with these handkerchiefs. I mean, I take mine out in Living It Up. I don't do mine in Way Down, but I do it when Persephone comes, and because my movement is not as slick as yours.
Oh,
I'm like,
stop it.
I always say that my Hermes is more an old Trinidadian man outside a rum shop, you know, just having a drink of rum.
Oh, by the way, that Way Down Hadestown, I incorporated a couple of Filipino dances. It's Singkil and the Igorot from the mountain province when they do that. So, and also in the beginning of the show, when I say, all right, I do a maglalatek. It's from, you know, coconut shells.
Yeah.
Like that. I and they encouraged me to do that. So I thought,
yeah.
I have a question for you. Maybe you answered this already, but we're both immigrants. I have always been, when I started doing TV movies here, I had to get rid of my accent because I've lost, a few opportunities because of my accent. They keep telling me, I like what you're doing, but lose that accent. I was like, oh, I thought I didn't have an accent. But now I embrace it. All the roles that I've been getting, because I can't hide it anymore. When I get emotional, How does your being an immigrant, influence the roles that you do?
That's an interesting thing. I haven't done very much television or film, so maybe maybe it stopped me from having those opportunities. I don't know, but a lot of the time, I get asked to work in my accent. So I was in the original company of Mary Poppins, and I did that role in my own accent. I was in the original company of Matilda the Musical, and I did that role in my own accent. And Juliet, which was the show that I ended up doing on Broadway, I did that in my own accent as well. It's kind of a feature now. I think I've been here and in the West End now for like over 2 decades, and it's kind of a thing that people this is just the way I sound, and people just ask me.
Sure.
I think perhaps because of the roles that I do, and the roles that I do it's always a person that it's kind of other. So either a magical being or somebody who stands outside, because I remember the librarian in Matilda, Matthew Waters, was very keen that the library and the librarian was something outside of Matilda's the world that Matilda came from, that she could go to this place that didn't belong to that world. So he was very keen for me to just be in my own accent. So Matilda had a magical secret place to go to. And the nurse in and Juliet, I guess the accent's just funny, and it's always just a funny thing to have somebody with a different accent, especially in playing the nurse. They've done it so many times. Even when I did Romeo and Juliet, which I did do, and did play the nurse, and I did do that in a Trinidadian accent. And Shakespeare in a Trinidadian accent is beautiful.
You remind me of Raul Julia when he said that. He was so proud of his Puerto Rican heritage, and he said, "Why can't I do Shakespeare in this accent?" And the thing is, we need to do this and say, no, you can tell it. I'm a storyteller. We can tell a story this way. And it works so well in your Hermes. Oh my God. When I heard you went, because it makes it human. It makes it relatable. Good storytelling is good storytelling, however you want to tell it.
Well, I feel like I've known you before we met, and I don't even know you yet, but you have been in my heart forever and a day. I just think that you are really among the best of us. I am so exceedingly grateful that I have experienced you and your art, and I am thrilled to bits that we are playing this part at the same time.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how it fills up my soul, because you have been one of my absolute favorites, one of my idols, and this is it's just the greatest feeling.
Thank you. And I feel like you're an old friend of mine. And when I was offered to do this, I went, yes, please. I want to be your friend. Well, Melanie, this is such a blessing and such a such an honor to be talking to you, and thank you for making this happen, Theater Mania and What's on
What's
Stage.
on Stage?
Yeah, and please, guys, you know, come see the show, because it's such a beautiful show. It's with beautiful performances. It's good storytelling. It's life-changing. I don't say that about a show. It changed my life, and it changed a lot of people's lives. And you're gonna see Melanie, the amazing Melanie in it, and you know, and that is a gift.
And you're gonna see the amazing Jon Jon if you head to New York. So, which I will be very soon. So come join me.
I'm gonna go back to London for that.
It's been a while. You gotta come visit.
I know. I should. I will. Love you, Melanie.
Love you. Oh, this has been so great.
Just how far would you go for her?